We made it to Saturday, everyone. It's February 8th, day 20 of the dump presidency. And here we are. Are you doing anything fun? I hope you're doing something fun. Don't get too drunk. I'll stay sober for you, okay? I'll just stay sober and be a big nerd. That's what I like to do to relax. I'm sure a lot of you will be watching the Super Bowl. I'm not a big sports ball person, but I am kind of curious about Kendrick Lamar. Anyways, let's dive into it. Trudeau was caught on a hot mic talking about how he absolutely believes that Trump means it when he has been referring to annexing Canada and making Canada the 51st state. And that it sounds like Canada is making some preparations in case we are going to war. So that's interesting. I think that's very smart of him. I think I have personally made the mistake on more than one occasion of thinking that something a narcissist said was so unreal and far out there that there was no way they were being serious about it, only to find out later that they were dead ass serious. It is a mistake you don't want to make again after you make it one time. So I think that it's very smart of Trudeau to just assume the worst, prepare for the worst, and then if it doesn't happen, great. That is actually also how I feel. We're having a pretty big discussion on TikTok about the potential of them going in and going after Social Security because it's something they're saying they're going to do. I believe Musk is in that system right now, rooting around, looking for what he can cut. They need money because they're going to give the billionaires huge tax cuts, and the money has to come from somewhere. And in fact, there's several videos of some Republican, I don't know if they're Congress members or what, but talking about how the American people are not going to like some of the changes that are coming and some of the changes that are coming to the tax system, but that sacrifices must be made. Oh, you mean the sacrifices have to be made so that billionaires can keep their money and y'all don't care if we starve. Got it. Yeah, I think that there's going to be some serious wake-up calls, and it is very sad that people on both sides of the aisle, people who did not want this, who did not vote for this man, are going to be so intensely affected. It's a horrible situation, but my hope is that if they take these very intense actions of potentially eliminating Social Security payments, eliminating Medicare, eliminating VA payments, etc., if they do those things, I think that people are going to freak out in a way that's going to not be able to be, they're not going to be able to sweep it under the rug. And perhaps the level of chaos will turn the ship around. That's my hope. In any case, if we end up in a war with Canada, it's going to be interesting to see what happens there as well. I won't say much more about that because, I just won't. Jordan, the country, is saying that any attempt by Israel or the U.S. to displace Palestinians is going to be considered an act of war. Here's another war that we're on the verge of because of Trump's bizarre and flippant remarks that are considered by the entire world to be totally inappropriate. They were talking. I actually heard them interviewing people in. I don't know if they were Egyptian. They were interviewing people in that region about the comments that Trump has made, and they're all saying, "Yeah, those are." These are war crimes he's talking about. These are war crimes. You can't do that. And he's oblivious, as usual. There was a bill introduced in Oklahoma, SB 593, that bans writing, reading, or possessing romance novels. Listen to how they want to handle this. Punishable by 10 to 30 years in prison and a $250,000 fine. Okay, so are they doing this because they don't want women to know what romance is? Because that was my very first thought. I was like, oh, the guys can't keep up, and the women are rejecting them, and they're staying home to read romance novels instead. So they're going to ban romance novels so these women never find out in the first place what it's supposed to be like. Honestly, this shit is some Dark Ages, worse than Dark Ages nonsense. Again, the peasants had it much better than this. Much better than this. Yes, they were filthy. They died young, but they barely worked. And they were relatively sort of cared for. I mean, not really. They were given food, though. They were given food. They didn't let them starve. And again, I think they occasionally like gave them like little celebrations or something. And I guess they probably like, you know, if someone attacked their village, they protected them, right? That was, we're supposed to have some sort of reciprocal agreement. So when they go in and they start canceling every good thing that we had, which wasn't even, it was nowhere near what other countries have. And now they're taking our shitty circumstances away and leaving us with nothing. That's interesting. We'll see what happens here. You know, Trump is going to have a harder and harder time making the argument publicly that this isn't just about white supremacy. They want to resettle white South Africans, white being the key word, into the United States. Again, the white population in the United States is shrinking. End of story. And very shortly, the white people in this country will no longer be the majority. This is why they are panicking. White birth rates have dropped, and white people are not marrying each other and having babies. So they're going to try to take some drastic actions to turn this into a white nation. And that's just what they're doing. They're shipping white people from other countries in here, or they're trying to. Although it sounds like the South Africans were like, no, thank you. I'm all set. Understandable. Who in their right mind would come here right now? Not me if I wasn't here already. He's such an idiot. Trump is appointing himself to be the chairman of the Kennedy Center for Performing Arts because they had a drag show last year. He's firing everybody at the Kennedy Center. First of all, I'm pretty sure you already have a job, bitch. You should have your hands pretty full as president of the United States. Are you sure you want to take on another giant role? Doesn't seem like a good idea. So, anyways, more you-know-what rhetoric coming out of the White House. It's about recreating World War II. Get rid of all the gays and theys. Get rid of anybody who has brown skin. Shove the women back into the kitchen. Probably dose them up with a bunch of, I don't know, Quaaludes. Are we going to bring those back too? You fucking better. You better trank me if you ever catch me. Tell you that much. If you don't, you're going to be in trouble. Trump revoked Biden's security clearance because he's Regina George. It's funny because Biden is actually petty himself sometimes. And this wasn't a petty move on Biden's part at all. He did exactly the right thing. Biden revoked Trump's security clearance the second he was out of office because he had been communicating with Russia. I mean, foreign interference, all kinds of shows happening. Trump absolutely shouldn't be in the White House right now. And I think any sane person in this country knows and understands that. That being said, normally and historically, presidents are still given national security briefings after they leave the office of president. Anyways, Trump is like, nah, you're not going to get it. I'm sure Biden probably doesn't. Biden's ready to die, man. He's like, I'm going to go lay down now. I hope he feels like shit for getting us into this situation, and When I say he, I mean Biden, because they did not do enough at all to protect us. I think a lot of people, actually, I just was listening to, not Pod Save America, shit, what is that other, The Bulwark? And they were, it was, I can't remember the dude's name. The dude who hosts that podcast was talking to Ezra Klein. Ezra Klein is the one who just wrote that article entitled Don't Believe Him. And ironically, the guy who hosts the podcast, The Bulwark, was saying exactly what I was saying. He was like, well, I think that article was pure copium, meaning it's something that Ezra Klein is telling himself and other people to make themselves feel better, because the premise of the article, or the thesis, was essentially Trump is full of hot air. He's saying a lot of things. He won't accomplish that much. I think he's accomplished quite a bit already, and it's been a couple weeks. He's getting a lot of his initiatives through. It's making quite the dent, to say the least. Will all of them hold? No, but again, we're having this conversation every single day when we talk about this. In any case, Ezra Klein came back and said that he had been having behind-the-scenes conversations with Democrats before Trump was in office, and that those people said that, yeah, I know we said that we were really worried about Trump, but maybe it'll be okay. And now all of them are raising the alarms and saying, this is a coup, and it's a really fucking big deal. And now everyone's freaking out. And that makes me happy, because I don't think people should sit there and think he's not going to get anything done. I don't think that's true. I mean, again, he already is getting things done. He is making an enormous dent in the castle walls, so to speak, if the castle walls were democracy. And I don't know if it can hold. I think it's a very precarious situation. In any case, it's not normal for Biden not to have security clearance, but I don't fucking care if Biden has security clearance. Biden didn't save us when he had the chance, and he's not going to do jack shit now either, so I don't know what difference it makes, to be honest with you. Speaking of elections and election interference, the federal election commissioner is trying to draw national attention to the fact that Trump is trying to have her removed from her position. And if you don't know what a federal election commissioner does, that her organization is an independent regulatory agency that administers and enforces finance laws when it comes to the elections, basically. So those people serve in 6-year terms, and it rotates. It's picked by president. I'm trying to think of the word, but anyways, one president picks whoever's in office every 6 years, picks the next one, right? If a term has ended. In any case, neither party is allowed to have more than 3 representing each side, so that it's evenly balanced. Obviously, he's going to try to fuck that up. He's already talking about serving a 3rd term. He absolutely will no longer be with us. There is no chance that man is still alive. I'm sorry. Maybe, I guess maybe. You never know, because there always are those people that like drank a bottle, and he doesn't drink, I don't think, alcohol, but like, they just treated their bodies like shit. There's the people who ate the McDonald's, they did everything wrong, and somehow they're still lingering on. Maybe. It's possible. I guess never say never. I will just not be surprised at all if he doesn't make it through this term, because he is not in good shape, and he does not treat himself well. A lot of our presidents have taken their physical health very seriously. Do you remember his doctor? That guy was real interesting. He was like a weird paid for TV actor that it seemed like Trump got him off the cast of Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Yeah, I don't feel like that guy was a real doctor. Anyways, narcissists are notoriously very afraid of doctors, and also very they look for yes men in all areas of their lives. They're not going to put up with a doctor that tells them something is wrong, or especially if a doctor is trying to hold them accountable for their behavior, like, hey, Mr. Trump, you can't just fucking eat McDonald's every single day. You're going to die. Like, nope, that will not fly at all. At all, at all. So anyways, I would actually really love to know the story of why Trump got so obsessed with McDonald's. I have a sneaking suspicion that his parents gave it to him as a treat occasionally, and that he started to like associate that with happiness, which is another kind of like typical narcissistic. They have some weird quirks. Actually, ironically, one of the narcissists I know is also obsessed with McDonald's for the same reason, because it was like a very rare and special treat when he got it as a child. Anyways. Oh, we do not need that in the White House. The last little bit I have for you tonight, we're keeping it short, is that Musk is going to rehire his eugenics aide. I'm going to call him the eugenics aide now. His little Doge aide, the little boy that loves eugenics. He's rehiring him because he deserves a second chance. Are you sure it's not just because your entire cabinet is full of Nazis? I'm pretty sure that's why. By the way, I have a special announcement tonight. My channel has started to receive its first Trump supporter trolls. I so desperately wanted to write back to the first one to be like, oh my God, congrats, you're my first troll on this channel. Moving up in the world. I mean, I have several years of experience now with people just saying the most heinous shit you could possibly imagine, and I just laugh. If I read it. I usually don't even read it. I wonder if that would make them mad if they knew. If you write a paragraph to me and it's like a troll comment, there's a 0% chance I'm going to read what you said. You gotta get your dig in real fast. It needs to be in one sentence format. If you want to insult me, it's got to be quick, fast, to the point. I'm not reading your paragraph. Anyways. Well, I'm happy to say that that was a slightly less painless news day. I mean, except for the Social Security. And listen, a lot of people on my TikTok channel are like, how can you say that? Like, what do you mean? Because I was saying, like, I want them to get it over with. I want them to do the worst things as quickly as they possibly can, because I believe our best chance out of this is for millions of people to freak out, which they will. So fingers crossed that Elon is dumb enough to pull that trigger soon, because I think it's going to lead to total fucking chaos. But anyways, the people on my TikTok channel are like, oh my God, like, you know, we can't live without this. Yeah, I know. That's what's going to cause the upheaval. And yes, it's absolutely horrible, but the cruelty of these laws that they're trying to pass, it's the point. That's the point. Did I already tell you guys about the farmer that I saw that was talking about how he lost his government aid and now his farm is failing? After they already purchased the farming equipment and stuff, and he voted for Trump. A lot of people are going to be in a new world in the next coming years if this continues, financially and otherwise. And some of them probably still won't even reconsider their positions. And that's up to them, man. That's your prerogative as a human being. In any case, yes, it's going to hurt all of us. And some of us more than others. And yes, it's horrible. But I personally think the fastest way out of this is for them to just dump it all on as quickly as they can. And maybe we're early enough in that someone will actually do something and get this administration out of here. I don't know. We're in for it. Some rocky years. Okay, guys. Love you. See you tomorrow. Not you Trump supporters. Don't love you at all. Sleep badly.